Hello creative people, this is Catherine with aMotleyArt, and here is Scrapbook Sunday Pics of Love. This is going to be a title page for a little mini album that I'm going to do of a bunch of the sketches that I did in the She's Crafty mini pad class. I have a playlist of that class that I'm going to add up here at the top so you can see all the sketches. We did 10 weeks, so I have 10 scrapbook pages, but 2 of those pages I did with one 6x6 pad, and the rest of them I did with a different 6x6 pad, the one that I actually showed here in the beginning. So I'm making a title page for just those 8 sketches that I did in the latter part, because they all have a Valentine's love theme, and so I just want to put them into one little mini album. So here I decided that I wanted to try to use up some of these alphas that I have. So the album is going to be titled Pics of Love. I thought that was cute. And I'm just placing down my letters, and I'm not pushing them down real hard except for the P. That I knew that's where I wanted to start, so that was okay to really put that one down. But the others I'm kind of trying to do a little bit at a time and not all the way, until I'm sure that I have the placement that I want so that they're easy to pick up and move around. I'm just trying to eyeball them into as straight of a line as I can get. I'm not going to be too precious about this and bring out a ruler or anything like that. And I did it on this big scrap because I wasn't sure how much space all this lettering was going to take. So I just knew the scrap was going to be big enough whole the way it is, and then I figured once I was done I'd measure it and I'd cut it, and so that's what I'm about to do here. So those letters I have had in my stash since 2005, so I'm really excited to be able to use a bunch of them, and they are actually velvet, so they actually have a velvet texture to them, which is really kind of cool. So I'm going ahead and I cut it down to 4.5 by 4.5, so I was really excited that it was such a good whole size that I could use. It's just so much easier when things come out to a size like that instead of being, a 16th of something or other. That's such a hard size because I really wanted to mat this. So I knew I wanted to pop it up, but I also wanted to mat it. So I'm going to go ahead and start popping it up here and using the recycled chipboard that I like to use. So I'm just going to fiddle around with this for a couple of minutes until I get what I need. And I'm just doing 2. So it basically makes it, this is really light chipboard. It's cereal boxes. So it's that lightweight. When you put 2 together, I would say you're getting a slightly heavier, but not quite mid-weight yet. If you put 3 together, then you get a nice mid-weight, and that's usually what I use to make album covers with. I like to put 3 pieces together to make my album covers. So I am going to make a mini album for these sketches, and I do hope that I'm going to be able to get that video up tomorrow, so be on a lookout for that. And here my piece wasn't quite long enough, but as long as it's mostly the same size, it'll still work really well, so I didn't worry about it too much. I just went ahead and cut out what I needed and put that on top. The smaller piece I put on top. So in that sketch, there were, behind where you were going to put your photo, there were tags, and I really had hoped I was going to be able to do that, but once I cut out this piece, I realized it was way too big to be able to do that. So I'm really just focusing on the hearts. I'm going to put the hearts on there, and you could see that my cutter decided to break a little bit. The cutting piece kind of snapped out. I had to put it back in there, but it is working just fine now. So if that ever happens to you with one of the Fiskars, you just have to click it back in and it will work great. So I cut that pink piece that I've been using in all the other sketches to be my mat, and it's going to be flat onto the background, where my square there with the lettering is going to be popped up, and I like that effect. It gives a nice little bit of dimension. I'm going to be able to actually put some of those hearts also on top of the pink, but not on top of the main piece, and I really liked that effect. So this is just kind of a way to get some more dimension and get a different look from your matting. Just do something a little bit different. So now I'm going to go around and I'm going to kind of start placing these. The heart there that I cut out, those big 2 hearts, is from a die from Close to My Heart that I just absolutely love that die. So I wanted to use it on here when I saw that there was a couple of larger hearts and then a bunch of smaller hearts. And I cut out a bunch before I started this video. Before I started recording, I didn't want you to have to watch me die cut. That's really not exciting, watching somebody die cut. So I just cut out a bunch of different sizes of hearts, and I'm just kind of seeing what I want to put on here. And then I also went ahead and put a couple of the wood veneer hearts as well. I wanted to make sure I was really incorporating a lot of elements that I incorporated on the pages in the book. So it just all will go together, and you're kind of getting here a little preview of what you're going to see when you go through the different layouts. So I'm just tacking everything down, and I did put, a couple of hearts on the main square, and then most of the hearts are going around on the background. That way it just really kind of gives you a very nice diagonal visual coming through the sketch and just brings your eye just right through the sketch. So I really enjoyed that. And so now I'm going to go ahead and get my title put down there, and I am using Tombow glue again for all of these elements. And I really wanted to add a few more elements to this particular layout, so I'm going to pull out some enamel dots here in a moment after I fiddle around with one more heart. I was thinking that I needed maybe one more heart, but I decided no, I had enough, and so I start putting the red enamel dots around, and I really like how they just give you that little bit of shine, but they're not too shiny. I like that. So I'm going to put several all around in the clusters, and then I did feel like I wanted to get a little bit more sparkle, and I did use the itty bitty sparkles a lot, but because this is the main page, this is the cover page, I really wanted to go with these bigger ones just to give it a little extra sparkle. So I'm just going to add those in, and I am going to call this done. So I had so much fun with the She's Crafty mini pad class, and I just loved what I came up with. Thank you for watching my video, and have a great creative day.